Hello everyone, thanks for coming outside with me today. Today I would like to show you how I'm gonna hunt this year, and if I haven't already posted my whole gear dump video, all the links for all the gear you see will be in the description. But today I want to climb this big old maple tree here and talk about how I'm getting up in the tree. And of course I'm hunting out of the Tethrd Phantom, which I hunted out of the end of last season. I shot both my deer out of my DIY sit drag saddle. If you're interested in making your own saddle out of a sit drag, follow the links in the description below there as well, and you can be able to do that following the process that basically I stole from Greg Godfrey from G2 Outdoorsman, also with the Tethrd crew, and of course Garrett Prawl from the DIY Sportsman. So I'm not going to spend too much time talking about the individual gear pieces. I'll talk about them as I ascend the tree. First things first, so you'll notice that my climbing sticks are hung with this shoulder strap. Now this shoulder strap would usually be over here more, but I got my microphone here, so I'm actually going to take them off. But this is how I would wear them. I'd wear them over one shoulder. I'm using the 3V Gear Outlaw 2 Sling Pack. This is going to be an absolute phenomenal pack for me. I was really excited to use it last year at the end of the season, definitely using it now this year. Very excited, very small, compact, lightweight pack. It's working really well for me. If you've seen my older videos, you know that I carried these sticks on the back of the pack, but now that I'm starting to tinker into the self-filming land, don't worry, it's gonna be nothing amazing, but now that I'm tinkering into self-filming, I'm gonna put the camera arm, the small camera arm, it's just a cheap Gorilla one, you know, they're like, I don't even know how much the cost of them is, and I'll put them in the description below. But basically I'm just using my little handy cam and my wireless mic system to try and film a hunt or two if I'm not going out with Nate from the Budget Sportsman. So these sticks, I needed a way to carry them, and the best way I found, and this is actually dual purpose because this turns into my back band. We'll see that when I get up the tree a little bit. But I'm able to sling these over one shoulder, just like so. And again, my microphone's here, I don't want to hit it. These would ride over one shoulder just like this, super compact, super comfortable, very happy with this way this works out. I've just gone for a couple hikes around the woods. Nothing has moved in a way that's very uncomfortable. So I imagine going in for a half mile, 3/4 to a mile or more hike would not be an issue whatsoever. They're held together with basically Night Eyes gear ties. I got them at a Bohning Box Club. It was actually, I think, like a 50-foot or 25-foot of malleable steel rubber coated wire. And that's what's holding these sticks together. I have single fixed aiders on them. We'll talk about that when we get up the tree, as well as some rope mods and some hammock straps. But let's just start the whole process here. So obviously I would have my bow and my pull rope, almost fell down there. My bow and my pull rope, which I don't have here with me today because basically I'm just showing you how I ascend and descend the tree. So basically when I get to the tree, take the sticks off, and then I would basically just undo both pieces of malleable wire here, and I would just leave these right here at the base of the tree. I know they're green. Yeah, are they going to disappear in the woods? Maybe, but I don't think so. They're huge, and you know, they're well over a foot long, probably close to 18 to 24 inches, and those will just sit right here. This top stick here is my, like I said, has the back band attached to it, or the carrying strap here. I'm not wild about how I have these attached. I just currently have some zip ties, some 50-pound zip ties run through one of the eyes of the API sticks here. These are mini sticks that I've modded. If you're interested in how I modded them to get down to these mini sticks instead of just the standard full 32-inch stick, follow links in the description below for that. I'm running the standard button, and this is 8mm accessory cord. This is my first stick that I run off the tree here. I'm using an 1/8 inch AM steel here as my single fixed aider. I've tried double aiders. I've tried the Archery where it's offset. I've tried the ladder. This single step just seems to be the best for me. And I'm gonna be going pretty slow here today, so this would go a lot faster in the woods. But I'm just kind of talking my way through it. So it might look like I'm bumbling a little bit, but it is what it is. So there's my full stick. This is about a 22 to 24 inch step here. I have pretty long legs. I'm 6'4", about 215, and it looks really sketchy with you know, this 1/8 inch AM steel, but it holds its weight just fine and holds its integrity really well. Using this 8mm accessory rope mod, I know how much sag I'm going to have, so I know approximately the top edge of my stick here. If I put it around forehead height, when it sags, it'll put my foot in that loop really well. Of course, you know, the more that you play around with this, depending on how tall you are or how short you are, so on and so forth, can really change things. So we'll just run this rope through here. And usually I'm running a green headlamp from Cyclops Lights, and I really like it. Actually kind of glows off some of this accessories cord, so I can really see what I'm doing without having to blow up the woods. We'll throw in a couple of half hitches here real loose, run the tag in down through here, and then, like I said, there's always a good bit of sag with this accessory cord. So that puts it's still a little bit on the high side, but it's not incredibly too high for my first stick. So there you go right there, and that's not gonna go anywhere. So now at this point, here's the back band, right? This is the shoulder strap. This is just a dual clipped duffel bag strap, shoulder strap. And at this point, I'll go ahead and throw this around my waist and just clip it into itself. Nothing fancy here, but this is not gonna fall off. I'll just go ahead and cinch the one side like I would usually do. And of course, I usually be wearing bulkier hunting clothing. I don't have to cinch that up as much, but that just stays right there, and that's all well and good. Now for my two secondary sticks here, I only run 3 sticks. I bought a second set of 3 API sticks in case I wanted to run 4. But it turns out with my legs, I get to 15 feet comfortably, 17 foot if I stretch a little bit to the bottom of my platform, which means 17 foot if I stretch it, plus I'm 6'4", so my head is 23 feet in the air. And in the early season like it is here, when it's full green up, you could really green yourself out of a tree in a hurry. And so I don't like to get more than about 12 to 17 foot, so really that 15 foot is a perfect sweet spot for me. This sticks up a little bit higher. We're probably going to get a little bit higher than 15 foot to platform height here. Real quick, again, single 1/8 inch AM steel here. Then I have the daisy chain feel. These are hammock straps. Now, again, this is all DIY, right? So in terms of, you can buy, the Tethrd makes their straps here. I forget the actual name of them off the top of my head. You can buy super high strength tubular webbing. Hammock straps, are they meant to be used in airborne thing? No, they're meant to hold a hammock between 2 trees when you're camping. I'm running them for this, and I've had no problem with them. They came in a pack of 2. That's why this one has the rope mod still on it. They came in a 2-pack, so both these sticks have them. When I go up the tree, they don't sag at all compared to the rope mod. There's a little bit of give in there because usually you can't get it to the perfect hole width, right? So all of these are daisy chains, so you have sections of 3 to 4 inch open webbing loops. You just loop them over the button. Works just like the rope mod in terms of there's no cinch strap, but it completely eliminates all metal. It's still very lightweight, not as lightweight as like an AM steel daisy chain, but it's easier to get around the tree. So in order to carry these up the tree with me on my Phantom saddle here, I will hook both of these either over the double step or the tree bracket. I prefer the tree bracket because it's a little more flared, and those just hang down here. Some people have an issue with these tree brackets, hanging these things off your saddle like this or your safety harness like this, if you're using a hang-on stand, is that they come back behind you and clank off each other. The biggest way to resolve that, when you're up against the tree, right here they come behind you, and they I can't even get them to do it, right? But they come around, they hit each other like that. The biggest way to do is just keep yourself upright. Keep your body between the 2 sticks and you're totally fine. I ride them pretty far forward here, so I'm definitely not gonna be leaning back and clanking them off each other. When it comes to my Lineman's belt here, some guys use a dump pouch. I have a whole bunch of release aids from, just course shooting and archery. This is a Scott one, and it's actually pretty rigid, and it's quite big. So I can actually fit my entire Lineman's belt inside this as my dump pouch, and I actually have the ability to clip things onto the outside. So what I actually would do here is on the outside, there's a D-ring over here, and I'll actually clip my pull rope to my dump pouch right here instead of trying to feed it through a molly webbing or put it in a pocket. I'll clip my pull rope here and then clip the other end obviously to my bow, and I can go right up the tree, and it's always here on my person. So now I'm ready to ascend the tree here, and so I always go up the first stick without attaching my Lineman's belt. Is that completely safe because I'm a solid 5 foot off the ground? No, but again, this is DIY, and I like to get up the first stick and keep myself secured to the tree long before I throw on the Lineman's belt, because to fish that up when you're on just the first stick's kind of a pain. So I'll get my arch here of my foot. I used to run a lot of like this side pressure here with some of my other aiders, but this one works better if you just put your toe right into the tree. I grip here to get my weight up onto the aider, and then I'll go and grab the tree itself, okay? So here's my weight, and now I can go in right here. I'm very secure on that aider. And now my weight is up here. Let my aider fall back down. And at this point, I will go ahead, before I step up to my next stick, I'll go ahead, or next step rather, and attach my Lineman's belt. On my Lineman's belt, I do run a Prusik Tender. This tree is pretty big here. This tree, significantly larger than something that's optimal. Love these large Lineman's loops here on these, on the Tethrd Phantom. I do run a Prusik Tender there. which makes it very simple. I have a video on making a Prusik Tender. I'll link that in the description below. But I do run a Prusik Tender here, which makes one-handed operation of my Prusik on my Lyman's belt very simple. So here, I don't actually go up onto the second stick to ascend the tree here just yet, because this is actually, I'll put my foot here, my knee, this is approximately where I want my aider to end up. So if I want it to be a little bit taller, you know, really stretch out my steps, I can. I know that the colder it gets and the more layers I'm wearing, the more difficult it becomes to stretch out those steps. I'm gonna keep them pretty conservative today, just for the sake of the video, and also not to kill myself. It's one of my first climbs of the tree. Forgot to mention here with my sticks, I have a piece of shock cord here, and that just loops right over the button. It keeps all of the strap there out of the way. And like I said earlier, these are very long. I've been debating cutting them because they're just, I mean, they're a solid 7 foot long. But it is what it is. And again, so when I get this onto the tree here, I'll put my knee up and to approximately figure out where I want that to be. I know I'm gonna have a little bit of sag here. So approximately right around in there is a good place to start, which usually ends up to being about the button around my forehead, which is perfect because I can, you know, smash my face into the tree. Like I said, this is a pretty big tree, so this takes a little bit of finagling, but that's okay. That Lyman's belt, completely hands-free operation, feel very secure. And this is another reason why I like these API steps over the, say like a lone wolf. I can have 2 feet on the stick at all times. So there's that little bit of sag. So I looped it into the loop here, and you can see there's a little bit of give here, right? I got some gap, but I knew that. So there's that little bit of sag, and my step's pretty conservative. So that's exactly what I want right there. I'll loop my extra over. Just kind of get it out of the way here, and I'll just feed the tag end back behind the stick. All right, there we are. Now we'll just kind of flip my Lyman's belt up a little bit. You always want to try, if at all times, if you can, obviously there's going to be parts that you can't, but if at all times you can keep your Lyman's belt at least parallel to the ground, if not above, you know, at a downward angle, it would really help you in your safety. I use the Lyman's belt more than the tree here to, you know, kind of work my way up. You know, I'll flip into it like so, a little more slack here, right? So I can flip into it like so, and that allows me to have that nice, you know, that good triangular shape between my legs, my Lyman's belt attachment point, and that way it never falls down. That way if I ever do have a fall, I'm never in an issue where I'm going to fall and have to fall the same length. If I fall right now, this tree, particularly with this bark, how grippy it is, I'm gonna slam into the tree this way instead of fall, then slam. It's never gonna be comfortable, but at least it'll keep me from falling to the ground, right? So here we go, put my foot to the stirrup. And again, I try to use the Lyman's belt if I can. I can kind of tell though with how grippy this tree is, it's not gonna be the best situation, so I'm gonna have to step up. And now that I have both feet in a position where I can step up, now I can move my Lyman's belt. Again, trying to keep that angle. I am not one that's the whole like, I can get up the tree in 5 minutes type person. Couldn't care less. I wanna be safe, I wanna be comfortable. Now that my Lyman's belt has been moved up with me, it's almost parallel to the ground. With an easy flip, I'm back up to being safe. So at this point is when I would obviously go and attach the third stick. One-man camera crew, I can tell that I'm already going off screen here a little bit. So I'm gonna step down and pretend that I'm getting to my third stick. It's the same process, whether I'm going to the second, to the third, the first, the second, everything's exactly the same. So now let me show you how I descend a little bit. Again, I don't wanna let my Lyman's belt go downward angle, you know, away from me. I wanna keep it upright as much as possible. So here I'm just gonna push into the tree a little bit, lean back, now I'm more parallel. And again, I want to keep my feet braced one at a time. One in the aider, right, here we go. And one in the aider, one in the stick. Now I can step down, lean into the tree a little bit, move my Lyman's belt down, so on and so forth. Very simple, right? Very easy, nothing complex here. Now, when I get to hunting height, usually I'm standing on this stick here. But sometimes, because in the early season, when it's full green, when you're in full greenery, you can't tell when you get up, until you get up there, where you're gonna put your platform. So sometimes I just like to attach my platform right here, because it's right here, eyeball height. Everything's nice and simple, and particularly if we're running 2 guys with a camera crew, it makes it really easy just to attach all the platforms here, then try to bend over when you're up top. But I like to, particularly in the early season, get up there and look around first, because this is gonna be approximately, when I'm standing on this stick, this is approximately my platform height. You know, I move up, you know, maybe shoot, 6 to 12 inches, 6 inches to a foot, somewhere in that flavor if I need to gain that little bit of extra. I know if I have a couple of holes, obviously this tree's very exposed, I would not have to do that, but in a lot of the early season, or if you're in a real thick environment, being able to get up there, check first, then come back down to hang your platform, it's a really good idea. So like I said earlier, I'm not going to use my third stick. So I'm actually just gonna drop him, just so he's out of the way. We'll pretend that we're up 3 sticks high. And now I can move on to the Predator platform. So at this point, and I'm sorry, you're gonna probably hear some scuffling around with the microphone here, but at this point, since this is a sling pack, I can rotate this around. Now I'm still working on how I wanna do this with my chest binocular case, right? Sorry for the crap audio. I like this binocular case. I used it all in turkey season. It was really great, nice and compact, holds it against my chest. Rather have my binoculars here and ready to go than in my pack and then pull them out later. So I'm still working on that. But this is how a sling pack operates. And I actually don't mind working off to the side here, which actually ends up being a benefit because you guys can see too with the camera. Camera arm would be here. And we'll have to worry about that later. But for the sake of this right now, if I'm not planning on filming, we wouldn't have to worry about it. Predator pack is in here. I keep it inside of its pack because the sharp corners, the sharp aluminum corners here would really scratch on the inside of this PVC material inside of this pack, and it would chew it up in a hurry. So I leave it in its Predator pack. So we go ahead and get this out here. I like keeping everything inside the pack like this, right? As soon as I push that there, you can work these zippers as quietly and slowly and noise-free as you would like. I don't really care. I'm just going to move them out of the way for now. Here's the Predator platform. Of course, you would do this with the Out on a Limb platform or any other type of manufacturer DIY platform, which I've made. And although it worked, it was never the greatest thing. But simply here, just using that Lyman's bow, great. Again, keeping that angle and using a 2-step stick like this API, you just can't beat it. You just can't beat it. So here's something when it comes to the platform that I've seen a lot recently, is people will put the buckle on the end that they swing around. I don't like to do that. I just like to hold the platform by the post and then use my index and middle finger here to hold the buckle away from the middle of the platform. I feel like if I go swinging this end around the tree, it's just gonna come and clank off a stick. I'm gonna miss it. It's gonna wrap me in the hand weird, just over a finger. I know that sounds stupid, but that's something I feel like it would do. So I'm just gonna grab this here. I'm gonna hold that between my index and middle finger here, and then I'm gonna swing the light end of the strap. Now, this is a pretty dadgum big tree, but if you're patient and just take your time with it, it's actually not too bad. So at this point now I have everything here in front of me, and since I ran that strap up pretty long, I can see it's pretty long. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the twist out of this here at least. On this side, I don't care if it's twisted on this side, that's not gonna ruin my day. And I'm gonna approximately put this off to the left here a little bit. I'm just gonna work that cinch strap over. There we go. Just so it's tight and holds its position. And at this point, I can bring it up against the tree, just like so. I usually like to step off with my left foot. That's just kind of how I am. I'm right-handed as an archer, but I'm left everything else. I right with my left, eat with my left, kick with my left foot. I feel much more stable stepping off to my left. Also, my Lyman's belt connection's on my right. I don't know how that is, but that's just how my brain works. So we'll go ahead and push this down a little bit, get a little weight on it. And I almost can guarantee you when I get up there, I'm gonna have to rebite that in. Here, we're just a few inches above here for platform height, which is perfectly fine. I'm being aware of my hammock strap for my top stick here. We're just a little bit wonky, but again, I like doing this right here, right? Right here, I can see everything, I can push on everything. If I'm above it, standing on this stick, I'm trying to monkey around with this, that, and everything. I just don't like to do that. But now I have the issue of my Lyman's belt's below the platform, but that's not a big deal, right? Since this has already been in there and it's been pushed on, now I just fold the platform up, and now I can just climb up like I've been doing. Just work my Lyman's belt around the platform there. Super simple. Step up. Boom. Because I'm using that Prusik Tender, one-handed operation. Keep my angle up high. Step up. Platform's here. I can see that I'm gonna need to bring it over a little bit. And again, you're gonna have to bend down, do some stuff. But when you're in full layers, you know, full cold season layers, blah, 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 this gets real difficult in a hurry. There we go. It's a little bit better. Now I can step onto the platform, still continue to use my Lyman's belt. Bites in a little bit more, and at this point, I am now ready to get my tether out, get my saddle out, or excuse me, get into the bridge, lean into the saddle more instead of just the Lyman's loops, get my gear strap out, get my bow out, pulled up the whole kit and caboodle. So that actually was pretty smooth. It's pretty solid there for basically the first filmed run of the year. Not too shabby. Also at this point, if you remember at the beginning, I have the back band, which is the carrying stick strap, still buckled in around my waist. Whenever I'm ready to use that, I just unclip it. I am running some mini Prusiks here on my bridge. I'll do a close-up of those later. They're the same deal that I ran on my DIY sit drag saddle last year. And I just slide those up and around on the amp steel, the full Barry amp steel bridge of this Tethrd Phantom. They grip in just fine. I have a full back band. So now that I'm ready to get down, it's just a reverse of the process, and just simply step down onto the stick. Super simple here. Same deal. Now at this point, since I'm getting down, and I'm not worried about, you know, breaking a sweat, that sort of stuff, I will go ahead and remove the platform now while I'm still above it. It's just a little bit easier to work with and try to maneuver the Lyman's belt over it right now, particularly if you're like getting down to the dark or something like that. So at this point I can go ahead and fold everything up. And again, I'll just say this, and I said it earlier in the video, but I'm not one of these people that's like, aha, I found a way to get up and down the tree in like 5 minutes. Like I've never worried about speed. Like if you're rushed getting up into a tree, then you probably should have done other things, like woken up 10 minutes earlier or something. I've been a strong proponent of you should never be in a position where you're rushed to get into your stand or this, that, and the other thing. Just set your alarm earlier. It's not that big of a deal. So I don't care if this takes me 25 minutes to a half hour. As long as I'm taking my time, I'll get up early, stay safe, and so on and so forth. So there's my Predator, all packed up here. Again, I'm still not sold on putting this just off to the side, but for now it's been working great. Slide it back into the Predator pack. All right, so that's done. Again, trying to keep my angle if at all possible. I know that's not always possible, but try to keep the angle if you can. Get my foot in my aider. Now I can step down. And since I'm not hunting like 35 feet in the air, and these hammock straps are pretty long, most of the time I'll just disengage them like that, and then most of the time I'll just drop these sticks to the ground. Like if this is my second stick and I climb onto my first, I'll just drop it to the ground. I don't like loop it back up. I have in the past, but as long as you're not making too much ruckus, it's not that big of a deal. Now, same deal here as getting up. Again, is it the safest thing to do? But no, getting to the ground and trying to step away from the tree is not always the easiest thing. So at this point, just to get off the tree, I'll just throw the Lyman's loop around my neck or over my shoulder here. Keep a good firm grip on the tree. Step down in my aider. Step off the tree. Trying to get that angle away when you're trying to step down to the ground, because a lot of these trees, obviously the root system, you put your foot on here, you're gonna roll your ankle. Really don't wanna do that. And so I'll just unhook that there to get down. Is it always the safest thing to do? No. Do I recommend that you should do it? No. Is it gonna make your life a lot easier though? Yeah. Total weight with all the amp steel and aiders and stuff is just around under 8 pounds. I think it's like 7.8 or something like that. And it makes for a really great system to get 17 feet in the air. And not to mention, I think they're one of the cheapest sticks on the market. Sure, they're one of the heavier ones, yeah. I think I got mine on sale from Bass Pro Cabela's for $79.99. I mean, when you're spending $100 a stick, $79.99 for 3 of them sounds pretty darn good. All right, so I'm gonna get packed up here. That's all for this video, and I'm hopefully gonna get some hunts on film out of the Phantom this fall, and maybe or maybe not, I'll do it myself. I have no idea. Definitely gonna be heading out with some camera guys this fall. Hopefully a lot of exciting hunts planned here for the Average Jake Archery channel. If you have any questions about any of the gear you saw that you couldn't find in the links in the description, please send me a Facebook message, Instagram message, send me an email, and yeah, you can even leave a comment here on YouTube. I'll be able to get outside, enjoy the sport of archery hunting if you so choose. Definitely enjoy God's beautiful, beautiful creation, and we'll get to see you next time.